Welcome to Sweaty Time Pro Wrestling, episode 22, where all your sweaty friends get together and listen to myself and James break down episodes of Lucha Underground. I am Sean.
Oh, yeah, and I'm James Mother Trucks. Oh, my God, if my mom was a truck, you better believe she'd be a pickup truck, because she picks me up when I'm down.
Aw, that's sweet.
I'm kidding. I don't think I've ever confided in my mom of like, I'm sad. Can we talk?
I mean, does she know you're sad all the time?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. She listens to Mostly Speaking Sentai.
Okay, sweet. I mean, I feel like I don't know if that's enough. Because I always think like, I love my mom very much. And she knows I'm sad all the time.
Boo.
But like, I also kind of know that my mom is just not the most adept. You know, she comes from a different sort of generation where sadness was handled very differently. So like I could confide, but I don't think I'd expect too much out of just a good ear to listen to. Mm-hmm. You know, like I don't expect like a bunch of solutions other than, how do you feel about that? And then like a little bit of what can you do to, like, I don't know. I can confide in my mother, but I would still seek professional help, you know?
My mom is for sure better equipped to deal with emotional stress because of going to therapy and whatnot. However, I think because, I'm your baby boy, she would be more of a mother instead of like, I've been through this. I know what's going on. I can just regurgitate something a therapist said to actually help you. She would more so be like, what can I do for you? You're my little baby boy.
Yeah. That also makes total sense where that differentiate. This is a wrestling podcast, by the way.
Yeah.
Also, in addition to whatever this is. But that makes sense. Like your relationship with someone can be so predeterminate that even when you bring in new factors, like, hey, I'm kind of sad, and I would like, it's so hard, especially something as powerful as like parental feelings, like motherly instincts. It's so hard to push that out of the way to like, especially because like I feel like motherly instincts feels like it solves everything. You ever see that mother lift a bus on top of a baby?
But that doesn't always solve the issue. Sometimes the child's in the bus trying to drive away from the mother. That's the thing you don't see. And the mom is actually lifting the bus up so it doesn't move because the child's like, I need to get out of this freaky household.
I think that actually might be Son of Havoc and Evilise's relationship right now.
Good.
Son of Havoc, you're our beloved. I don't know if you'll get away from this wild Evilise relationship, but let's find out in episode 22, Mask versus Mask.
Mask v Mask. Mask v Mask. It's like ass to ass.
Ass. Yes, it is.
That's the thing you shouted on our podcast once, and we were like, we don't know what's going on, but we'll chant along with it.
That doesn't sound like me. I don't know about that.
It was recorded. It was probably on the episode. 2 tickets to Paradise.
I've been hoisted by my own ass petard, and it feels pretty good. Before we get into the episode, specifically, episode as a whole, I'll ask you, my dear friend and man licking the sky, James, what do you think of this episode as a butthole?
Boy, oh boy, who the fuck programmed or scheduled this card? Because that first match should have been the last. I think I kind of agree. I agree a lot. I have the most notes on that first match. And it was one of those things where like, I'm trying just to take notes on like the big moments, but I just kept writing. I couldn't stop writing. That first match was wild. Mm-hmm. But like the last match does have more story implications. Nah.
Okay. Now, what do you mean by nah?
You got the Drago and Aerostar of it all battling it out. What will happen next episode? Will they finally settle their 3-5 match? Who knows?
You know, that's true. And I guess we're getting into specifics. So let's start the breakdown.
Is Evilise and Son of Havoc ever going to get back together?
Who knows? Only things I do know is that last week, Dario put Sexy Star in a trio with the mad arm-breaking Penta, as well as Superfly. Son of Havoc and Evilise, they broke up while Angelico's being cute, but he's getting his ass kicked. And Hernandez is here.
And will Angelico ever cut his bang?
Yo, you do not. It's too early. It's too early for you to begin this mad crusade against sweet emo bangs in wrestling. Also, Hernandez is here, and that's cool. That guy might murder someone with a rosary. And Puma retains his title against Cage, finally paying off that story.
That didn't happen this episode, you piece of shit.
No, I said recap.
Stop doing the damn recap. Recap and chill. People don't want to be recapped. They want to be capped off, baby.
Did someone say something? Or are you just, I don't know, paranoid about people's attention spans?
No.
So you're worried about taking time with the recap?
I'm paranoid about mine. The recap.
Okay.
Get it out of here. They can listen to last week's episode if they want to know what happened on last week's show.
What if they don't have time to listen to last week's episode, but they do want to know what's going on in this show?
It's called Play It at 3 times speed like I've been doing for Spider-Man.
Wow, you would disrespect Peter Parker and recaps like this?
Oh.
I cannot believe.
Guess what? Peter Parker's not in it, you dumb bitch.
He's not. How is Peter Parker not in Spider-Man? He's Spider-Man.
Because Toei was only given the rights to Spider-Man. It's a Japanese one, you piece of shit.
You know what? That is on me for not assuming you were discussing the Toei Spider-Man.
Yeah, obviously. It's been on my to-do list because there's 40-some episodes for the last 6 months. So I just said, screw it, I gotta sit at my desk and watch at 2.5 speed or 2.3 speed when people are talking, and when people aren't, I jam it up to 4 speed.
Sweet. Well, you know who else is sitting at his desk? Dario Cueto.
Get him out of here.
With the new trios title in front of him, he wipes his nose in front of Puma and Konnan and gets into that he wants Puma to partner up to fight for these titles. He wants Puma to compete in the tournament to sort of bring the prestige up. He wants these belts to be a big deal. So he's going to have to find 2 opponents or 2 partners because he has an opponent tonight. And that opponent will be his opponent next week. And also this week they're fighting for the title. How was that for a sentence?
Bad.
This is why I need the recap.
No, you. This is straight up from the beginning. Unless you're like, oh, well, the recap gives me opportunity to talk a little bit more before I start.
No, it's so that when I talk about this next week, people will understand what I was talking about last week.
Oh my god.
He lets Puma know he's gonna have a match tonight, and that opponent will be his opponent next week in the trios tournament, and he will be bringing down his allies. So Puma might want to ally up real quick. Also, it's for the title.
Yes.
Lucha Underground Championship on the line tonight in our main event. As Sergio Arau places to the desk, El Generico mask spotted in the audience. I got excited because Sami Zayn is pretty cool.
No idea what any of those words mean, specifically crowd. Because when I perform, that ain't there. When you look at the schedule, the set list, who plays on what, you can pretty much, when it says Marshland Monster, just scratch that out and say, cigarette break in the parking lot.
Me too.
Take a shit that you've been needing to do for the past week. The shows I go to, people are not healthy.
I'm so sorry.
And so they're just downing coffee and cigarettes. I'm just like, what? And somehow they're smoking the coffee and drinking the cigarettes. You could actually do that. You like grind up the coffee and put that in a joint, smoke that, and then
smoke anything.
You make cigarette tea.
I know you said this as a joke to make you go, bleh, but like I had such a visceral nostalgia moment for when I did smoke cigarettes and how much I would actually probably enjoy the shit out of like cigarette tea.
Okay.
Guys, don't hand me cigarette tea if you ever see me walking around outside. I might drink it. It's not okay.
Unless it's from a hot juggalette, it better be just dip spit that she spat into a Coke can. And then you drink that up and you say, I'm fully torqued and ready to unload.
I would never drink hot tobacco spittle of a juggalette from a Coke can. I'm a Mountain Dew, man. Better believe it, baby.
Pepsi!
Well, let's Pepsi what's going on in the trios tournament. The first match of the night. Killing it left and right, baby. We have the Son of Havoc, Evilise, and Angelico, the unlikely trio.
AKA the Odd Thruple.
I like Odd Thruple. On commentary, they refer to them as the estranged love triangle. Odd Thruple is the way to go on this one.
Also, real quick, those belts look amazing from the Dario segment.
Oh, yeah, with the red straps. I'm excited. The trio's belts look real nice.
I don't know the coloring because, heavy blue blocker shit. Just the design of them is cool.
Agreed. It is so interesting. It's so weird just to like jump from you have your main title and then you have your trios title. Like you don't have a tag title. You don't have separate divisions between men and women. So you don't have like a women's title. You just have like your heavyweight title and then straight to trios. That's on. I don't know. That's really cool.
Oh, women's title. What is this? Title 9?
I don't understand that reference, but it sounded smart, so I will laugh.
It was I think, affirmative action. And, I was being a conservative right-wing dude.
Yeah, which is my favorite. God, I love Andrew Tate. He seems so cool to skateboard with.
Not so much affirmative action. It prohibits sex-based discrimination in any school or any other education program that receives funding from the federal government. Title 9.
Do you think if I gave Jordan Peterson a doll of me inside of a jar, he would fill it with his Siemens?
Yeah, again, I totally know who that person is.
I ran out of transitions. Son of Havoc, Evilizes, and Angelico's opponent tonight are Drago, Aerostar, and Phoenix, who this year, in 2015, a couple months later in September, will go on to win the Chikara King of Trios tournament, which is kind of cool. I know Drago and Aerostar specifically have been tagging in AAA for some time. I think they have one tag title with the two of them. But of course, we're also in the middle of what you, as the aforementioned, best of 5 series between Drago and Aerostar, where it started very friendly, has been friendly competition up until last week. Last week was the first time we saw a bit of volatility, where it's not so much about respect and honor, it's fuck you, I'm better than you, and I'm gonna have sex with my wife in front of you.
So there's some contention in the ring.
But Phoenix looks nice. And he just wants friends. So it's a lot of nobody really likes each other in this match.
Contention in the ring. What, did a father murder their daughter? Spoilers for The Ring.
Oh, okay.
That's the whole thing. Dad murders his daughter. Wow, I don't know. Just dad murders the child, and she's like, "I'm Sadako. I will rise." And then it becomes a virus. Science fiction. You didn't see that happening because that's not how The Ring acts in the American versions or in the good Japanese versions. Only in the book.
Do I have to see The Ring? I've never actually seen The Ring.
Oh, dude, the Japanese one, we did it on the Fortnight of Horror from 1998. It is amazing. It's a 5 out of 5 movie. It's on Tubi.
Sweet. I gotta check that. So is Tremors. I need to watch Tremors also. It's been a very long time. Dude, Reba shoots worms.
Reba.
That's cool. The match starts out, and Angelico and Phoenix are first in the ring. They dap up, code of honor established. These might be the only two, just totally, hey, I'm excited to compete tonight, guys. Everyone else hates someone on their own team in this match, with a passion.
Who was dapping up and saying I'm excited?
Angelico and Phoenix.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Phoenix fucking bullies the shit out of Angelico with just absolute lucha libre dominance. Phoenix is insane. He's insane this whole match.
Man, this match was so good. It was a constant who am I rooting for just to be like, who cares who wins?
I mean, truly. And I should say, Son of Havoc is pretty much white hot right now. The audience is in love with him. Constant cheers. He bent over to tie his boots, and huge Son of Havoc chants erupt in the audience.
Yeah, because he bent down all sexily and said, look at my fine Olympian ass.
He's got a great Olympian ass. I would never take that away from him.
Junior Olympian ass is what we shouldn't say.
No, that doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound, moving right along.
I'm an of-age former junior Olympian.
That's the fact that you have to add so much to it to make it sound not creepy just makes it feel creepy.
Yeah.
It's not. but it feels it. Evilise blind tags Angelico on the back of his neck, just like slaps the shit out of him so he can stop getting bullied. But unfortunately, Angelico blind tags Evilise's ass to get tagged back in. And then Phoenix screams no at the top of his lungs, like into Evilise's eyeballs. And I'm very confused about this moment.
I think he wasn't screaming no. He was screaming what no in Spanish would mean, you know?
Which is no.
What?
Or not, I guess.
Okay.
It's just the visual of like, and again, and Phoenix, we've talked about before, go back to listen to it, super baby face. Even when he gets wrapped up in sort of like the darker sides of things, like he did with Mil Muertes and Katrina, he's still just like this very sweet guy trying to do his best on a lot of levels.
Wait, he's technically still with Katrina, so maybe he's like, I don't want to touch another woman.
You think he's just super monogamous?
Yeah, like me.
I buy that. Yeah. Yeah, you would never fight a woman because you're with Nicole.
Uh-huh. The only person I'm in the ring with is Nicole.
Yeah.
And ooh, baby, are we scared of all these viruses trying to make us, I truly don't, I guess, wonky-faced in a camera.
Well, you probably shouldn't have murdered your daughter so much.
Actually, I'm probably, when it comes to who's going to crescendo, who's going to bring forth the ring virus to the world, this guy ain't, okay? Because snip, snip.
Yeah, okay, that's true. That's a good point.
I can't have a daughter.
Nah, no way to murder a daughter you cannot have.
I could murder an adoptive daughter.
Okay, well, don't. But I wouldn't.
If I transitioned, my father could bring forth it, you know?
Okay, but still don't murder anyone. Don't murder anyone. Unless you're in a match against Angelico, and you are three of the greatest luchadors working in 2015. They murder the shit out of this poor boy, and I love him. I love his bangs. I love his limbs. I love his quirky smile of how did I get into this situation? He gets the shit kicked out of him for a lot of this match.
So much so that when it's over, he looks up and he's like, huh, what just happened?
It's my favorite.
Before the announce table says this, I was like, damn, DDT's aplenty this match.
Yeah, and all night. I'm curious about that one, because like Stryker sort of, I feel like, pulls back a curtain pretty hard in the second match when he says DDTs are the theme of the night. Like, did someone have a meeting backstage where like, we're going to use a lot of DDTs tonight? It's one thing to have a theme. It's another thing to very explicitly say, I don't know, like if Dorothy Lever looked at the camera and was like, wow, home is where you make it sure is the theme of this adventure, it would take something away from the message, I feel.
Well, no, this is making it feel like a live event. It's not planned out. If you were to be watching football and everyone's QB sacking it, you'd be like, holy shit, did we not get a memo here?
I guess I just didn't get that. It felt to me a little bit like it was planned out. Not like he was reacting to all the DDTs, but like he was just like, and there are a lot of DDTs tonight. Like more, it was a report than a reaction.
It could have been DDT Tuesday.
It might have been DDT Tuesday. And it's so nitpicky in this fucking brilliant match. Like, it's one of those matches that could go at the end, can go in the beginning, I think is fair as well, because it's lot of action, huge pace. The story on the outside on how many people can hit dives on a pile of people on the outside, it's like, that story gets told in matches frequently, but it's so fun here, and that it really picks up when Phoenix alley-ooping Drago, just like tossing Drago over his head to corkscrew to the outside. Awesome. Then Arrow, I feel like it made like a hint of jealousy. And like, what do you mean Drago is doing flips again? I'm Arrow Star. I'm the flippy guy. I do the flips. So Arrow sets up for his own, but Angelico moves out of the way. So Arrow Star ends up flipping onto his own guy.
Damn.
Which is Drago. The dissension in the ranks. Also, Son of Havoc murders the shit out of Drago with a senton to the outside. Do you remember this?
Yeah, just like Sadako's father did to her.
He basically Sadako's poor Drago, who's like still on his butt, like is actively in the process of getting up when a flying Son of Havoc comes out of nowhere and just demolishes him.
Yeah.
Awesome. And Phoenix hits his triangle corkscrew. Ivelisse hits her senton. I think the only real teamwork is coming from Drago, Phoenix, and Aerostar until Drago starts pulling Aerostar off of pins.
Boo.
And then Aerostar pulls Drago. They like Phoenix has to get between them before it gets too far, but the dissension is already laid in work.
Ooh, I wouldn't mind getting between those two boys. Yeah.
Oh, me too. Especially if my name was Phoenix. I just kind of want to be Ray Phoenix.
Do it.
I'm gonna. You wait and see. There is a moment, it is in the final sort of segments, it is Drago and Aerostar 2-on-1ing, Drago and Aerostar in the ring with Son of Havoc, Ivelisse on the corner. Son of Havoc dives for, he's getting his shit kicked in like his name was Angelico in the first half of this match. So Son of Havoc needs a tag. He dives desperately for Ivelisse's hand, who walks away. Ivelisse does not accept the tag. She says, fuck you, I hate you, you dumb son of a bitch. You didn't dump me. We just happened to break up. I don't even care. And she starts walking away. Which would be a perfect time for Drago and Aerostar to take control if they weren't fighting about their own bullshit.
That's the story of the match.
Son of Havoc dumps out Aerostar, sets up Drago for a shooting star pin. The odd thruple, the unlikely love triangle, and Angelico, Ivelisse, Son of Havoc pick up the win at 8 minutes and 13 seconds.
Yeah, he dumped out like, during my set, all these unhealthy individuals finally taking a poop.
Ivelisse takes a poop out of anger, and then Angelico takes like a poop out of, again, just a moment to appreciate Angelico's adorable, what, we won? That's pretty sweet, I guess, dude. Like, he's very much Cody step-by-step vibes this entire angle, I think. Like, the more Angelico is just Cody living in a van, surprised by the grace of God, and is probably a virgin. I love it. It's awesome.
No, he feels more Karen.
Really?
Yeah. Because he's pretty and just wants to be loved and whatnot. And that's more Karen. And Cody's like the cool, hey, I'm going to teach you a lesson. Not with my fists, except on that season 4, episode 1, where he taught some lessons with his fists.
Yeah. Don't forget that time he also kicked a hole in a phone booth.
Oh, also that time where in, I think, season 4, when Dana went to a college interview in Chicago and almost got R-worded by a man.
Yeah. I think that's the one where he kicks the phone booth.
That could be. And then in season 1 where Dana almost gets R-worded by people.
Wait.
Yeah, it's also in
Stop
season
writing this story.
In season 1, she's like 14 at this bar, this biker bar, and a full-grown man is hitting on her. That show loved older men hitting on children, and then one episode they finally flipped the script. It's an old lady flirting with a child.
Oh, wait, was it done as a joke?
No, this woman
Thank
wants
God.
to fuck.
Okay, cool. As long great.
They're in Young Rock. Have you started watching Young Rock yet?
No, I haven't. Sorry.
The recurring joke is when he is 15, he looks like he's 25. And there's an episode where like a woman starts flirting with him and he goes, "Oh, sorry, ma'am, I'm 15." And she goes, yet again, you hit on a 15-year-old.
Then she wanders off set and onto the set of Step by Step, and she just can't get away from it. Also, I think Phoenix might be the Karen of Step by Step in Lucha Underground. But what are your thoughts? Please write in at according to Zoom, P.O. Box 02134.
You could also Marshland Media or MSS Pod on Twitter.
Yeah, I probably should have used a real address. We go to the temple gym. Puma is doing chin-ups, and Konnan just found the perfect partner, Hernandez. And all they need is one more Vato Loco, and they are set. When Johnny Mundo, who's been here but secretly off-screen this whole time, proclaims he has found that third Vato Loco. It is Johnny Mundo himself.
Dude, they do an anime-esque handshake like this. The cuts. It's peak cinema right here. I loved it, and it got me so hyped for their friendship.
Me too as well. He tells Puma he's got his back against that sneaky bastard because, of course, the last time we saw King Cuerno was the cage match that blew off his Mundo, the deep-seated hatred between Puma and Mundo.
But not the cage match with Cage, it's a different cage match. There's a literal cage, not a machine named Cage.
Yes, and I said Puma when I meant to say Cuerno. They did not fight inside of a man who is a machine known as Brian Cage. They did not crawl into his mouth and do battle there. There was a steel structure. Though as I say that out loud,
Miss Frizzle was not involved in any of these episodes with her school bus. That is a wizard.
which, as you say out loud, is a huge missed opportunity. But yeah, it's like it's an intense 3-camera cut for 3 different handshakes. And it is 3 times more powerful than the Top Gun handshake. It is awe-inspiring. Honestly, if you, the first match was great, but if you could only see one thing from the episode, it might be the handshake.
Sean,
yeah.
there was an episode, maybe it was Shuffling the Deck, but many episodes ago, you said, wow, I would love James to book an indie federation just to see what he would do. I would absolutely do a pre-recorded, or I guess we could make some a fake crowd and people would be dressed up as amoebas and whatnot. I would do an inside the body Magic School Bus match where maybe it's 2 people fighting over either a love interest or maybe a tag team partner. And they're like, hey, to settle this, we are going to shrink you down and have a match inside that person.
I would watch that. Special guest referee, Osmosis Jones.
And we would make up the studio to look like you were inside a body.
I don't remember the name of the band, but the guys who sing Amoeba from the Tony Hawk soundtrack, they play us in.
Yeah.
We're getting Lucha Underground house bands. It'll be great.
The Amoeba Brothers will be there from Powerpuff Girls.
Yes. And Konnan will hate it, just like he hates this partnership. Konnan still does not trust Mundo, does not like Mundo, and warns Puma that if Mundo steps out of line, either Hernandez or Konnan himself will split his wig.
Which Puma is now starting to become suspicious, at least in facial, and then we see later on, is suspicious of Hernandez. Which my speculation is maybe Hernandez is more of a Rudo and not a Tecnico. So maybe there's contention there because we do see that nearing the end of their match this night. But I do want to quickly say Konnan is the Penguin of this entire promotion because he literally has in his cane it becomes this barbed bat.
Yeah. Well, we saw a couple weeks ago how he sweated and bled over a forge to create this ultimate weapon, his new cane. It's deadly. It had a cutscene not quite as exciting as the handshake, but up there. So it is a big deal. A little bit of backstory on Hernandez and Konnan's relationship. We mentioned before they worked together in LAX, the Latin American Exchange in TNA, which were a Rudo heel faction. I think their debut in this 2004, 2005, their whole deal was they wanted to burn the American flag, which is today, that's awesome. But in 2004, 2005 wrestling crowds got them a lot of heat. How dare you? I need code, never run, don't burn my flag. That's been their whole thing. Years later with the LAX, Eddie Kingston, who's wrestling in AEW now, runs over a child with a car. These are bad. These aren't the LAX usually aren't good guys.
They're we're going to burn these flags and remind you of 9/11.
Yeah. And then we're going to run over your child with a car. And hopefully your daughter will not haunt us in a TV viral video.
Hell yeah. I'm glad you said it because I was about to.
Of course. But it goes to, and also Konnan, who's worked, WCW and is just Konnan at this point. It's so funny that Vampiro hates Konnan so much because they both appreciate the same thing, which is violence and victory by any means necessary. Konnan doesn't prep Puma for wrestling matches. He preps Puma for war every time they sort of have a discussion. So I guess, and that's the side of Hernandez that maybe Puma doesn't agree with so much. We'll see.
I think he's going to break away from Konnan.
I think so too. I think since sort of even day one, there's been this Puma always had these silent reactions of like, I know this guy is kind of evil, but I'm in such a good position in this new company. Like, I'm the face of this new company. I kind of have to go with it. Like, he did make me the first Lucha Underground champion, but I don't think Puma ever 100% trusted Konnan.
No, Puma made Puma the champ, okay?
I mean, yeah. But also, I mean, well, credit where credit's due. Konnan is agenting for him. Konnan is advocating for Puma. But would Puma have gotten there regardless? Absolutely. Did Konnan fast track that? Maybe a little bit. I'm just saying everyone should get signed to a management deal and just make sure, give them as much of your contract percentage as they want. There is never a bad contract to sign when it comes to agents and managers. Always trust them. They always have your best interest looking out for you.
Sean, you got an agent yet?
No.
Dude, get an agent. By this time next year, I want you to be in a feature film, indie or otherwise, okay?
Every time I audition, I'm beaten over the head with a weighted cane.
What? Why are you constantly going to Konnan then?
Because he got Puma the Lucha Underground Championship. If not Konnan, then who?
That's completely in a different lane. Also, you want to be union, don't you? Professional wrestling notoriously does not provide health insurance.
That's true. Well, I have a meeting with Konnan tomorrow. I'll let you know how it goes.
Oh, Konnan the Barbarian?
Yes. And by Konnan the Barbarian, I do mean Konnan the wrestler, but he is wearing a loincloth.
God damn
Next
it.
match of the card is Superfly.
There's two things wrong with that. One.
Two? Only two?
Yeah, well, one is like, hey, different lane. He's not going to get you where you need to go. And two, he might ask for more than a percentage if he's in that loincloth, if you get my drift.
Oh, man. Are you saying? I would probably fuck Konnan, regardless of if he could be a deal or not. Second match of the night is Superfly versus Sexy Star. And which is so, you may be asking yourself if you watched last week, what the fuck? As were we all. This match was made by Dario Cueto, who hates friendship and made this match after Sexy Star saved Superfly from a broken arm via Pentagon Jr.'s sacrifice last week.
Wait, that it's Sexy Star versus, as Dario Cueto said, Super Fry.
He does say Super Fry?
Yeah.
I mean, listen, he also opened this episode by aggressively rubbing his nose like he was trying to get the little last bits of cocaine on his fingertips back up there.
Ooh, give it to me.
Dario's very busy.
I wish Dario would Cruel Intentions and just have a cross necklace that he like houses cocaine from.
I do too, actually.
Real quick, Super Fries are potatoes bitten by radioactive mites.
I agree. As both wrestlers make their way into the ring, Dario Cueto, who again loathes friendship, slithers out of his office to declare this match a mask versus match lucha de apuesta. He does this to ensure both competitors, who were friends last week, Sexy Star, who showed mercy to Superfly, he wants to ensure that this match has no mercy, that this is a brutal and violent affair. And Vampiro kind of breaks it down. Actually, Vampiro and Stryker break it down very well, that to do this, Dario is really spitting in the face of lucha tradition by making this a mask versus mask match. And lucha de apuestas, which would be mask versus mask, match versus hair, mask versus hair, mask versus title. It translates to wrestling bets. And it is a huge tradition. This is a very sacred match stipulation that is saved for like years of feuds and hatred. And because taking away someone's mask, essentially killing their identity and their career, that's it's such a personal move. It's such an intimate move. You need to have that level of animosity between two people for someone to say, I want to kill you. We are wrestling, but I also want you to die. Oh. So I challenge you to a mask versus mask. Dario skipped all of that.
Oh, shoo. I hope they didn't throw his mask in a circular trash can.
Now, why is that?
He might come back and Sadako us.
Oh, God, okay.
That'd be fucking cool if it like a ghost luchador, that type of movie. I would love that. But for this, if he's just fast tracking tradition and kind of spitting in the face of it. I wrote down, just don't remove the masks. Go into his office and beat the shit out of this man who is spitting on your traditions.
You can't beat the shit out of every boss you have. You know how hard it is to get booked on television in America during the mid 2000s in professional wrestling? It's either have this man spit on your tradition, or you go work for Vince McMahon, who will also spit on your tradition and then make you obsessed with feet.
That's why you get on down with Wrestling with Regret, get on the YouTube championship shit, and then you're flying high.
But that didn't happen. It was 2015.
So, fast track it.
Brian Regret was just a young, middle-aged man.
Well, I think he was doing Wrestling with Regret. He's been doing that for a while.
I think he was too, but he didn't have a. At that point, it was all old wrestling reviews. He wasn't like booking matches or getting on shows or anything like that at the time. It is very wild, and I feel like it's so. I love beating over the head, especially when someone's like, "Oh yeah, this is Sean. He likes WWE," because that is such a common. There was such a monopoly for so long of professional wrestling in America, in the Northeast. Because also in Canada, it really just was the WWE, and even AAA and CMLL. These are legacy brands. These are, but they don't have the money that WWE does.
Oh, maybe go where the not just money is, but where the true fans are. JCW.
I guarantee you there is not as much money as you think there is in JCW.
No, but you bring your merch and everyone buys your merch.
Okay. Yeah, and that's better than a contract.
I told you once, I think, I wanted to do a bit at the shithole where it's like, hey, all you guys are in the biz, you're a struggling artist trying to not only find an audience, but also make money. So I'm here to pitch you on Juggalos. And then I would have this big easel and I just flip it and it's a Hatchet Man with just dollar imprints and art in it. And I'm like, that Hatchet Man means money because they buy physical media, they are collectors, and they are diehards. Do not shit on the Juggalos unless that's what they want. Please respect them. And then I would just go and say sell out to Juggalos because that's artistic, I guess.
And then I set up my own show outside so that when everyone's leaving the show, I'm being like, that James was funny, but also had a lot of really good ideas. There's a juggalette and me, and she's spitting her tobacco into my mouth, which then I deposit into a Mountain Dew can. We don't actually make any money off that, but it is thought-provoking.
If anything, you'd lose money by being arrested.
That's also true. But I did want to shout out how well I think Vampiro and Stryker do a really good job of explaining not just what this match type means, but why it is so irregular, and for Dario to make the match on the fly like this, why this is so disrespectful of Dario to do. Mm-hmm. And a great job of explaining why his motives are. Not just that this is disrespectful, but there is a method. He wants to pop a rating. He wants to make this match very violent. Mm-hmm. So it's disrespectful, but he has a reason to do it. They do a very good job of sort of finessing all the major points of this particular match. And then immediately afterwards, Vampiro says, in fact, Sexy Star's mask saved her from suicide, or so she says. And god damn it, Vampiro, you were so close.
Vampiro said something was from the Book of Vampiro, and I said, of course, self-published on Kindle.
Yep.
Or by Hatchet Man Press.
Strength, determination, no mercy lives forever. The Book of Vampiro.
Ooh.
As independently published. And they tell the story of, they start off, they're wrestling, they're exchanging holds, and then very quickly Superfly kicks the shit out of the face of Sexy Star. And then Sexy Star starts grabbing him by the mask and snapmares and drags him around by Superfly's mask. It very quickly goes from a wrestling match to a fuck you kind of fight.
Or hey, this is survival. That's what we need to do.
Which exactly what it is. Yeah, it's everything Kirk and Spock should have been, and then one of them should have actually died in Star Trek. where it's just like they do love each other, and it's kind of really sad that they do have this immense love for each other. But shit, where else can you work right now and make this kind of money and wrestle on television? Because I think even these contracts suck, and we find that out years later in the lawsuit. But ideally, and probably this first year, I don't know what these contracts are like or how up they are on their contracts. But even if you're not making a bunch of money, wrestling on television every week is huge if you can start taking independent bookings.
Yeah.
Too.
Well, was the biggest thing with those lawsuits.
Yeah. Like if these contracts didn't suck, and then was it the show Lucha Underground, or was it El Rey that got sued? I don't remember.
It would be El Rey, the producers, which, hey guys, I hope Chavo was not involved in this, because Chavo, I found out, like, it's in the credits. I'm like, wait, is Chavo again yeah, he produced this show, at least season 1. Don't know about future ones.
Oh, shit.
But it was El Rey and Mark Burnett, whatever his production company was. So, yeah. There was something I was going to say. What were you talking about before that? Oh, it would be very much akin to, I go on Letterman, maybe it doesn't like pay a bunch of money, but I know if I'm on Letterman, all the fucking clubs in America will be booking me instantly, because I can say in the intro, the MC says, hey, you know him from David Letterman, The Tonight Show, whatever the fuck it was. It's, insert name. But it would be if Letterman imposed a exclusivity contract of like, you can only perform on Letterman once a year for me. You'd be like, well, this is not working out.
Yeah, these there's a reason these guys get sued the shit out of them. El Rey, these contracts are terrible. So maybe they should have just left. Actually, now the things we know about these contracts nowadays, like when Dario comes out of his office, wipes his nose, and just like, now it's a mask versus mask match. Kill each other for me. Like, it would have been very valid for either of them to just go, no.
Yeah.
No, this sucks. I'm gonna go see what ROH is up to, man. This is terrible. Hernandez just in the back trying to get Dixie Carter and TNA back on the line. Please, I can hold down the child while Eddie Kingston runs her over.
Dang.
LAX is crazy. I love Hernandez. This match is crazy though too. It's a fight all the way through. Not a super long match, though, which is interesting. Superfly hits this really gross powerbomb, attempts a moonsault, but Sexy Star rolls in to avoid, hits a Magistral cradle pin for the win at 5 minutes, 47 seconds. Pretty short match for a mask versus mask match. Mm-hmm. And then post-match, it's brutal. And Sexy Star begins celebrating and then looks over at Superfly and is like, oh no, I remember what has to be done. She's like tearing up, screaming, no, you're my mijo. I don't want to do this. We don't have to do this. And Superfly is just noble and just takes the knee, demands she does. Because he lost, but he wants to lose honorably. And with tears in her eyes, tears in his eyes, tears in my eyes, she unmasks Superfly, who's kind of handsome as hell.
Mm-hmm. Superfly is so loyal to upper management, he would totally be committing war crimes.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. He's just a corporate bootlicker, man. Fuck this guy.
He would be in a timeshare situation, lying his ass off, just trying to get that sale.
He's the one guy when Chavo Guerrero got sued for these shitty contracts.
We don't know if it was Chavo.
I heard that El Rey, the only reason they had Chavo as producer was so that they could frame him for these lawsuits. Guy. Yeah. That's not true. Chavo is a great mind for the business. I would make a phenomenal producer. I don't want to take anything away from him.
I would love to someday have Chavo on, but we've said so much shit in
terrible thing. I think crimes. I think a lot of them are crimes.
Well, no, actually, most of the times it's crimes being committed on him.
Yes, but that we are advocating for.
Okay, real quick, on February 6th, 2019, it was reported that King Cuerno had filed a lawsuit in California against the El Rey Network and the Baba G production company that made Lucha Underground. Let's see what Baba G is. Hopefully
Come on, I'm crossing my fingers for Chavo to get out of this one unscathed.
Baba G Productions.
I'm hoping that's all Mark, what's his face? The Christian guy that did the, I forgot, what reality show did he do before this? Bachelor? Survivor, thank you. Come on, Chavo.
I can't find anything about this Baba G Productions.
Oh, that makes me think it's Chavo.
But the lawsuit claimed that Lucha Underground's contract illegally restricted wrestlers from working in their lawful profession by blocking them from working for other wrestling companies until their multi-year contracts expired. Production of the series ended in less than 4 years, despite producers signing some original cast to a 5-year exclusive contract. Cuerno stated that wrestler pay was usually less than $1,000 per appearance, with some wrestling cast members earning only $4,000 a year from the show.
Which is so brutal. And also brutal when you remember at the time, like at this point, you know, ROH, it's not the peak ROH years, but in a way that's kind of nicer. It's a much more stable ROH. And they're in Southern California. PWG is around the corner. You have a good showing at PWG. Indies all over the country are looking at you, are trying to book you.
Yeah.
Like there are so many, like the territories have long since died, but the indies are in, I think Dragon Gate USA is running at this time. I could be wrong. But like there are so many places to work, and especially guys coming from Mexico to break into a brand new market. And they just, like, how awesome would it be to just see like Superfly start taking all these, like a bunch of bookings?
Yeah.
Or Phoenix and Penta. The fact that Phoenix and Penta should be a household name, but they can only work for this one promotion in the States for this one TV channel that is very difficult to actually have.
Oh, yeah. And I do remember people saying, like, the stipulation was you can wrestle elsewhere except on the weekends. And they're like, that's when all wrestling happens.
Yeah, like, it sucks. So it's such a shitty deal. And Robert Rodriguez, you fucked up. I don't know if you drawn up these contracts yourself. I don't know if you hired Chavo to take the fall for you so that you could be everyone's best friend and then cut off your daughter's foot and put a gun inside of it. I don't know what you're up to, Robert Rodriguez, but you fucked up on this one. Much like Sexy Star fucked up when she turned her back to the emerging, the evil, the dastardly Pentagon Jr., who jumps this beautiful moment. Remember, Sexy Star just unmasked Superfly, who is handsome but sad. And everyone's sad. And they're sharing this moment when Pentagon Jr. comes out of nowhere, dumps her out of the ring, and finally gets his arm breaker on Superfly. Snaps that shit in twain. Sexy gets back into the ring and swears vengeance on Penta, but the damage has already been done.
As I've said, why isn't the entire locker room going against Pentagon? That should be the storyline. So many people should be just trying to beat the shit out of this heel.
Well, I wonder if that has something to do with the master too. Like there's something to be said about maybe some of the people backstage are afraid of Pentagon, where like Chavo was bad and evil, but like in a very human way. Like I don't think anyone was necessarily afraid of Chavo. I think it's easier to say, like, I'm kind of afraid of Pentagon Jr., though. Yeah, he's breaking arms. He's, like, crazy. He's got that, like, fanatical sort of craziness to him right now where he's praying to this deity that no one knows. I don't know.
Hey, I'd like to see a deity go up against a steel chair. See who wins.
I'd probably be the deity, man.
No, they're not real.
Neither are steel chairs.
Holy shit, it's been a concept brought upon, the Carnegies.
Yeah, the Carnegies made you think you were sitting down when all the while you were just squatting.
They were trying to inflate their own. I think that's the steel people, the Carnegies back in the day. They were trying to inflate their product of steel by saying, oh, yeah, we can make chairs out of them. Never happened.
Never happened.
It was all CGI.
Well, we got a CGI coming up now. Carnage Gratuitous Intensity. in the Lucha Underground Championship match, our main event.
I would have said the cum gutter instigators.
Well, of course you would have. I'm sorry I didn't talk more about cum getters.
Do you want to see mine?
Sure. Take this moment to let the fans know how your cum gutters are coming along.
They're great, guys. Check them out. On April 15th, I'm going to be doing a workout stream during a Patreon pledge.
Hell yeah. What was it? April
15th, Saturday. I will be streaming until either we get to 40 patrons, currently at 21, or I pass out.
Nice. This has been James's Cum Gutter Corner. Are you talking about this main event now?
Yeah, Puma is coming in like a scamp.
He is very scampish. He's got a new bit of gear. It's a Puma pelt that he wears over his head, much like King Cuerno will wear his 18-point buck, and it's very cool. He's also coming to the ring with Hernandez and Mundo. Like he's fully like something bad's going on. I'm getting the crew together. I'm putting a whole band together for this one. And King Cuerno comes to the ring initially without allies, and I'm like, what the heck? And then we see, oh shit, it's Cage and it's Tejano.
Whew, this matchup next week, I'm so excited for.
It's gonna be brutal. A lot of big guys, a lot of hard hitting, just fucking smacking each other. And before the match even starts, they're all in the ring together, staring daggers at each other. Like they fucking hate the shit out of each other. They barely started. Obviously, and Cage and Mundo have a lot of history. And Cuerno and Mundo, we talked about huge history. Cage and Puma, we just finished that. And Hernandez is cool and hates American flags, and that's cool too.
And children.
I don't know actually if Hernandez was working at the company when Eddie Kingston ran over the kid. I just know it was with LAX, which is the group that Hernandez and Konnan were in.
Remember when Kofi Kingston won the belt?
Yeah, okay.
And the New Day's crying, watching it on TV, just so happy. That's what Hernandez was doing while watching TNA when a child was hit by a car.
I love this shit so much.
I watched that video of him crying to like really get a feel-good moment yearly.
Mm-hmm. And then you have to balance it out by watching Eddie Kingston run over a child with a car. We don't talk about this enough.
Oh, no, I'm saying that footage of...
Oh, that's the one you watched?
Yeah, Hernandez watching that footage and getting a tear.
Of course. Vampiro also points out that Johnny and Hernandez are wearing the same jeans, and that's how you know they're on the same team.
Yeah.
Sisterhood of the Sweaty Time Pro Wrestling Pants. That's what we got going on over here. Early in the match, Cuerno tries to dominate Puma with a front wrist lock, but Puma is too fluid. He can't be held down. Cuerno powders out in an attempt to avoid Puma. When he goes out of the ring, unfortunately, Puma follows him, attempts the diving senton to the outside, but is caught by Tejano and Cage, who then they catch him midair, throw him to Cuerno, hits the neck breaker. Now, this is not a lumberjack match, nor is it a 3-on-3 match. This is a 1-on-1 match. Some would say this should be disqualification.
Oh, I'll challenge you on that, Sean. It's the tradition. It's whatever the referee wants, this and that. I sound like you, Sean.
Oh, no, I was going to say, but if I was the referee, I would also not disqualify Cuerno right now. That's a lot of scary dudes.
I would have.
Yeah, you would have got the shit kicked out of you and your beautiful cum gutters.
I'm a tecnico referee, all right? Not one of these rudos or one of these flip-flopping fuckers.
You are a tecnico referee and a meal for Cage, who decides to eat you then and there.
Oh, if he tries and punches me, guess what? Contract null and void, except, the 5-year exclusivity. No, that stands.
Wait, that's the one part of the contract that stays?
I'll just bench him for 5 years.
You're not also the owner.
Real quick, maybe I said this when, I might have talked about a former employee at Burger King headbutting me. I don't think I brought up how this person was not good at their job, and this is some corporate fuckery, so I don't support this at all. They should have just let this person go, but wasn't good at their job because they were just scared of everything and couldn't do any position. So they kept not scheduling this girl. And she would call in every single Saturday for the schedule. She wasn't on. And they're like, we don't get it. It's been 2 months of her not on the schedule. Why doesn't she just quit? Because if we fire her, she'll get unemployment. However, if she hasn't been working for 2 months, it's like, well, what hourly wage and shit would we give her? Like or weekly, like what do we go off from here, guys?
Yeah. It's literally what's his face storyline from Office Space, where it's like he was fired, months ago, but there was a glitch in the payroll. And like, oh, okay, so you fired him? Well, we fixed the glitch. He shows up every day. He's not getting paid. Like that's her, except she doesn't have to show up. Like I hate capitalism so much sometimes.
Yeah.
I swear to God.
But hey, I learned from what was it? Quality Dining Corporation. And I would have translated that over into booking wrestlers.
Oh,
as a referee.
You simply would not pay them?
Well, no, I would just like hang them on the string, throwing that, oh, you're on a 5-year contract. I can do with you as I please. How about you do one of those Tuesday afternoon shows? There isn't any.
Remember how we just talked about the massive lawsuits those contracts resulted in?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm just a referee. Nothing comes skirting back on me.
Yo, do you think this was Chavo?
No.
Chavo came up with these contracts, and then when the lawsuits came around, he's like, well, I'm just a Chavo.
No.
I didn't do it. I didn't have anything to do with it. I got to go over here now. Bye. And then he went to go work on Young Rock and Baba G. The sweet, benevolent corporation Baba G had to take the fall for Chavo.
No, I'm no longer good with this Chavo hate. I someday want this man on our show, which real quick, then we got to finish this up. What's the situation on getting a wrestler to guest on our show?
I don't know any wrestlers.
Okay, what's another wrestling podcast to guest on our show?
I got a friend. I'm waiting for him to get back to me with dates.
Okay, all right.
I guess I'm not going to name him now since he hasn't confirmed yet.
All right.
But he's cool.
Maybe, is there another wrestling podcast you want to shout out? Wink, wink.
I mean, yeah, Marty and Sarah Love Wrestling. That's a great show. I'm a big fan of your podcast. Come on this one, please. Thanks.
Wait,
Bye.
is that the people you contacted?
No.
No, I was saying like, hey, if any, wink, wink.
I should shout.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That makes a lot more sense.
Unrelated to what we were just talking about.
Yeah, I do want to shout out Marty and Sarah Love Wrestling, though, but also rediscovering the indies and WrestleNomics, both of which feature Chris Gullo, who's awesome ring announcer, comedian, podcaster out of Buffalo.
Hell yeah.
Also, rediscovering the indies is awesome. They just do like deep dives into the history of independent wrestling in America. If you're like a weird niche history buff, like I love weird history.
Same.
It's fascinating to me. Yeah. Rediscovering the indies is a great one. I would highly recommend that podcast. And even if we don't get Chris on this episode to guest, you should still listen to him.
Have they done the Los Luchadores indie that I don't think had a name?
Yeah, I don't think they do fictional wrestling promotions, just independent ones.
Dang it. Because, hey, all wrestling's real to me, goddammit.
Los Luchadores is real to me, damn it.
Hey, guys.
Chihuahua with an evil man's brain inside of him is real to me, damn it.
Real quick.
Sure.
I love how Stryker calls the whip that sandpaper snake.
Oh, that's cool. That is pretty cool. I like that time that Cuerno was playing with Puma's nipples on the outside. That was a weird cutaway.
Oh, dang, I didn't see that.
Like right after that neck breaker when they're sort of cheating, Mundo and Hernandez come in. This is when Hernandez takes off the rosary from around his neck and wraps around his fist. And I'm like, this man is about to murder someone with a rosary. And then Tejano starts using the bullwhip to keep them back. Cuerno sort of pulls Puma into a corner. And then they cut to them, and he's just kind of holding him by the nipples.
Okay.
And it's very intimate.
Hell yeah.
But they do have to wrestle.
When he wrapped that rosary around his fist, he did look out into the crowd to find a child to Sadako.
Yeah, again, that's Eddie Kingston. I don't know if Hernandez was even signed into the company when this happened.
Wait, okay, so Eddie Kingston probably threw that child in a well.
I would imagine after he ran him over with a car.
Or it's the tires that form the ring.
Eddie Kingston, are you being haunted ring style by the child you murdered in TNA? Let us know.
I'll be honest, the dad is the least haunted out of all of them.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah.
Eddie Kingston. Are you the least haunted among your friends? I feel like we're running a weird Ghostbusters ad.
Because I think he just fucks off to the island he's from and he's like, hey, as long as I don't leave this island, I'm fine.
Oh, that's smart. Yeah, he doesn't leave the island, does he?
I'm not going to spoil it.
Ooh, secrets. We get back into this match. Cuerno does what Cuerno does best. Like, now that Puma is injured, Puma took that nasty neck bump. It's just Cuerno picking him apart. Very deliberately, very methodically, positioning Puma in a way that one of Cuerno's partners can distract the referee, while I think it's Cage starts hitting him on the outside. Like, it is a chess game of how can we beat the shit out of this dude behind the referee's back. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, there's one little piece of mathematics to this equation that Cuerno did not factor in, and that's the crowd's going to start chanting for Puma. And when the crowd starts chanting for Puma, Puma gets his second wind, almost godlike, according to Vampiro, who just fires up. Mm-hmm. Like it's all on fumes. Like, he can barely. At one point, he can't even springboard in. He just kind of like lands on Cuerno's shoulders, who dumps him off. But he's still in it, and he still wants the fight.
Imagine if the crowd just from ding ding bell rings, they go Puma, 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 Puma,
Be undefeatable.
Puma, 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 Puma.
Did you just inward singing chant Puma?
Yeah.
That's very impressive. Yeah, dear wrestling audiences, do you want your favorites to win? Well, you need to start inward chanting.
Yeah, just a constant Tenacious D style.
Yeah. Until then, Roman Reigns is your forever champion. Deal with it.
Speaking on the neck injury of it all, Stryker says, oh, yeah, you've probably been in the same situation. And Vampiro says, I've broke my neck in the ring 3 times. And imagine a career where you break your neck while doing it not once, not twice, but 3 times. That's insane.
Vampiro, the original throat goat. But towards the end of the match, we'll go to sort of the wrap up. Puma 450s, but no one's home. Cuerno takes Puma to Suplex City for a 2. Big "this is awesome" chance. Vampiro's like, of course it's awesome. And behind the ref's back, Cuerno gets his head clapped by Hernandez, while Puma is taking care of Cage. So, because again, it's 6 men. Shouts out to Marty Elias. He has to deal with a lot of them. But he doesn't catch Hernandez getting involved and boxing the ears of King Cuerno. Puma appears to also miss this, but sees Hernandez on the apron. So he's like, I don't know what happened, but I don't like it. Mm-hmm. I am going to put King Cuerno away with a 450 splash for the win at 9 minutes, 3 seconds. But Hernandez, we're going to talk about this. And immediately afterwards, Hernandez goes in. He's going to raise Puma's hand, give him the championship. And Puma's like, no, I don't like this. You look like the kind of guy who would approve of a child getting murdered by a car. That's not who I am. Mm-hmm. And while they're sort of discussing that, fucking Cage double clotheslines them from behind. Mundo starts to brawl with Cage. Tejano brawls with Mundo. King Cuerno's playing with his own nipples. Everyone is fighting. It's mayhem and pandemonium in the brouhaha as we cut to black.
There's one thing we skipped over, and then we'll head on out, which is Stryker says, oh man, this Puma was trained by Konnan the Great. And then Vampiro goes, he's not great. And Stryker says, he's a legend. And then Vampiro goes, where?
He's very pissy to Konnan. Like a couple times throughout the match, Stryker will bring up how Puma is being trained by Konnan. I think he literally says, like, why would you bring him up? Mm-hmm. It's like, he works for the company. Like, you have to see him every day.
Stryker says, like, oh yeah, Konan's great. And Vampiro says, you've had too much to drink tonight.
He fucking hates him. But we love it. We truly love it. We truly love it. And I would truly love it Plugs. If y'all checked out twitch.tv/Goose Von Kaiser and come hang out for a little bit, we'll have a good time. High five me virtually.
Yeah. Hey guys, listen to my music under Marshland Monster. New EP coming out April 7th and new song with Dragon Boy Suede coming out either end of April or beginning of May called Catfight. Yay. And hey, head over to mlmpod.com/whatever to find out information about my other podcasts. It's a good time there. And patreon.com/MLMpod, where for $5 a month, you get exclusive content every single Friday. If you want to make sure I'm not streaming until I pass out, start right now. Sign up. It's just $5. Sign up for the $1. I don't care. We're looking for 40 patrons on that day so I can say bye-bye. And Sean, maybe we'll do a live Sweaty Time Pro Wrestling, or maybe we'll watch a wrestling match that you love so dearly.
Yeah!
We'll talk about that later. That's April 15th, okay. But $5 a month gets you exclusive content, including Engage with Nicolas Cage, Death from Above, a Sam and Max podcast, Mostly Speaking Sentai After Dark, and This Existed, where we just did a month-long This Existed extravaganza, ending this week with a couple of Trauma shorts. Corey's really enjoying Trauma now. I'm excited. But if you're a $10 patron, you get monthly exclusive content on top of free feed, or not free, exclusive shout outs on every single free feed podcast. Shh, James, you're acting like Sean with your mouth right now.
Pull it together.
Yeah, so let's get with these shout outs right now, starting with Steve F.
Strength.
Eric Berry of Ranger Command Power Hour.
Determination.
Alex Z, the Waz.
No mercy.
Oh, okay. Orion, a.k.a. Defo, he's a rapper, D-F-O.
Lives forever.
Jordan B, the Chaos Witch.
The Book of Vampiro.
My Bickle brother in common law, Joshua Jakis.
Strength.
Steve Barnes of Sweet Child of Time, go check it out.
Determination.
The womb in which I emerged, my mother.
No mercy.
Little Corey's BFF and roommate Shane.
Lives forever.
That Fed.
The Book of Vampiro.
And finally, twitch.tv/CoreWinning. It's CoreWin.
Amen.
And I've been James.
I'm Sean.
Bye. Oh, yeah.